to change your tie.
Change the tie?
It's
Oh, it's strobing, yeah.
There's a technical term. I just heard one cameraman saying to another, it strobes like f***, so I don't know what that means. Is that good or bad? I don't know. Might be good.
Thank you.
It's a magic eye tie.
Magic eye tie, exactly.
Yeah.
That's not referring to Italians, though, of course. It says...
You know, a man shouldn't have to do his tie up in front of an audience.
No.
Good evening and welcome to Have I Got News For You? I'm Richard Madeley, and in the news this week, as Michael Winner retires from his post as Sunday Times restaurant critic, auditions get underway to find a suitable replacement. Yeah. After failing to coax the family cat out of a tree with a saucer of milk, Richard Hammond reverts to Plan B. And at the O2 Arena, a sound technician carries out a last-minute check on one of Led Zeppelin's speakers. OK, on Ian Hislop's team tonight is a stand-up comedian whose act has been described as observational patter from a black comic who might be the next Lenny Henry. That's harsh. Please welcome Stephen K. Amos.
I'm not quite sure I like that Lenny Henry reference.
Why not?
Well, we know the BBC has a diversity policy,
yes,
right? And obviously I want my own TV show.
Actually,
but
yes,
apparently I've got to wait for Lenny Henry to die first. There's one in, one out, let's not rock the boat. Actually, I did do the Royal Variety recently, and I did that same line, and Prince Philip walks past in the lineup, and I swear to God, he goes, "Oh, so you're the young man who wants Lenny Henry to die?" We can arrange that.
This puts a Diana crash into a new light, doesn't it?
And with Paul Merton tonight is a TV and radio presenter who once complained about sexism in the media. She said, "I worked for one guy for 3 years, and he only ever called me darling." Well, never mind the gossip, love, we've got a show to do, OK? Would you please welcome Laverne? We start with round one. Ian and Stephen, have a look.
Freddie Mercury tribute act.
It's Lisbon. This is the big European sign-off.
Yeah,
Except he's not there.
He's shaking troops' hands.
Yeah, off for a photo op, or is it a song? Oh, blimey. You're trying to arrest the Home Secretary. Not a good move.
Well, did you see how serious she looked?
Yeah, well, she's guilty.
Well, the last one, obviously, is something to do with the big furore about the police wanting an increase in their wages.
Yes, they've had a good year.
Well, exactly, and they won't have a good bloody year. Well, according to all my friends have been nicked.
They were given a pay increase, and then she said, "Oh, we can save money by not giving you the pay backdated." And the police have said, "Well, you know, we can't go on strike, but can you imagine what would happen if we did?" And we're all going, "Yeah, what would be the difference?"
It's been another turbulent week for Gordon Brown. What's he been trying to avoid this week? You touched on it.
Brussels, presumably.
Lisbon.
No,
Lisbon, sorry. Oh,
No.
it's all the same to me.
Lisbon, Brussels,
Lagos, Nigeria.
Nigeria. I used to live in Lagos.
Did you?
Yeah, when I was very small.
Ah.
Could you narrow it down a bit?
But it's classic. Gordon Brown. The whole of Europe says, we're going to sign the treaty, big photo opportunity, lunch, it'll be terrific. Gordon arrived at 2 o'clock. After lunch, they were literally clearing away the coffee, and our Prime Minister goes around and signs it all on his own. Oh. It's rather sad.
Yeah. He obviously wanted to avoid upsetting British voters, as you quite rightly said, with photos of him smiling and waving with the other Euro leaders. Stuff like this.
This is the BBC again. They've just faked that photo. They just don't learn, do they? Probably have a phone in a minute.
Well, we can't do Richard's here.
Oh, yeah. UK, we say.
Did you see what a senior EU diplomat said about Gordon's indecision and havering on this?
No? And he said this is typical of Gordon's bottle.
He said some will react with mirth, some will react with horror, and some will react with pity. How would you react, Paul?
Mixture of all three.
Yeah. Apart from the signing...
My face is strobing.
It's not a strobe, it's a stroke.
Apart from the signing of the treaty,
yes.
What else, according to the Times, did Gordon miss at the summit? He missed a speech by somebody.
Who made it? God, they probably all made speeches.
I thought you'd know this, Ian. I really did.
So did I, and that's why I'm on your team.
It was a speech by Hans-Gert Pöttering. He's president of the European Parliament, and you apparently do an impression of him.
Oh, is he the ex-German ambassador? Is he the one who always said, why do you always mention Zavor? Everyone in Britain goes on and on about Zavor. It's not funny, it's not clever.
OK.
The answer is it's more or less all we've got.
Now, if this was at some kind of meeting in Africa, I'd have got a round of applause because I do a lovely Mugabe. He's not big, he's not clever. Why is everybody talking about the war?
What sneaky trick are the Germans planning, according to the Sun?
At the last minute, they tried to put back the flag, the anthem, and the fact that Germany makes all the decisions.
Wrong, right and wrong in that order.
Oh, right.
So it's the anthem. The official anthem has lyrics written by an Austrian because they like singing to a German tune, as we all know, as history shows.
You see, they know nothing.
OK, yeah, it's to ode to joy, but it doesn't fit. It goes like this. Europe is united now, united may it remain. There's two more lines. Our unity in diversity may contribute to world peace.
I can make it work.
Go on, then.
Europe is united now, united may it remain. Our unity in diversity may contribute... No, you're right, can't you? It's impossible.
He's been about a bit this week, our Gordon. Where else has he been?
Iraq?
Yes.
To say the troops are coming home. Be to Afghanistan, to tell them they're staying there forever.
The troops were very pleased to see him at first, but were clearly getting bored by the time he started doing his Tommy Cooper impressions.
I would be worried if I was him that everybody else is in camouflage behind him. It makes him stand out even more. I mean, that tie is strobing from where I'm sitting. Get an anti-strobe missile on that, we'll know all about it.
There's also likely to be another row over a sensitive data or data loss. Did you hear about that?
Daughter?
I say it my way.
Is it data or daughter?
Potato?
Potato.
Excuse me, has this programme been reduced to one member of the team trying to pronounce the word potato? Well, the other two look on with a keen interest. It has, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Right, let's take that as a bottom point and let's move on up.
Drivers, wasn't it? Drivers?
Well done, yeah, that's right, yeah. 6,000 drivers, details, have been lost by the DVLA in Northern Ireland. Meanwhile, Home Secretary Jackie Smith has upset Britain's police force by reneging on their pay deal. A spokesman for the Police Federation warned feelings are running very high. There is a lot of anger out there. In fact, if I were Jackie Smith, I'd steer well clear of Stockwell tube station for quite a while. Right, Paul and Lauren, here's yours.
Bowls Club, obviously bowls happening here, and lavatory bowls. There's some pun being attempted here.
Yes.
It's the man who got locked in a lavatory in his bowling club. He's sort of in Aberdeen, in fact. And apparently the handle fell off the outside of the door, and he closed the door behind him, and that handle fell off, and then he was stuck in the dark for 3 or 4 days.
4 days, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the best holiday he's ever been on.
How was Bobby Ewing involved in the story?
What, the Dallas character? Oh, Patrick Duffy, is
Wasn't
it?
he the one who was dead and then it was all a dream?
The answer is that Bobby Ewing was not involved at all. As you rightly say, he was...
Good
Sorry,
answer.
but Bowling Club secretary Bob Ewing...
Yes.
Yeah, Bob Ewing, eventually freed Mr Leggett by opening the toilet door using a screwdriver after a cleaner had heard cries for help. The cleaner explained nobody had been looking for David. A wife may have wondered where he was, but he's not married. Yeah, kick it. What did the Telegraph invite its readers to do about this story?
Track him down and kill him.
They invited their readers to have their say. One reader asked, I wonder if he tried using a 20p, 50p flat edge as a screwdriver to remove hinges on cubicle doors and using the door as a battering ram to smash out. Or, unscrewing, use his shirt for grip, the pipe, which causes a flood, but with a metal implement you can then smash out or smash a toilet pan whose sharp edges could then be used to pierce the main door. Did he try any of these things?
When they heard him inside shouting out, they said, don't ignore it, it's just a cry for help.
Here's a comment from a Telegraph reader called Malcolm.
Yeah.
This story reminds me of a report many years ago of a cleaner getting stuck in a factory lift for a fortnight. She survived by drinking the contents of her mop bucket. While a third comment gets to the nub of David Leggett's terrible story, saying quite simply, what a stupid sad Meanwhile, who else has been found after going missing for a while?
Mr. Canoe from Seaton Carew.
Well, you know, in the right water. They found Mr. Darwin and...
Mrs. Darwin.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, they didn't really find her. She came back, didn't she?
I think the police like to take credit for it. Anne Darwin, who was arrested by 6 officers armed with submachine guns... when
They like a joke, don't they? No point in having guns if you can't use them.
This is the announcement of her arrest later that day by Detective Superintendent Tony Hutchinson.
At 9:15 a.m. yesterday morning, a flight from Atlanta touched down at Manchester Airport. On board was Mrs. Anne Darwin. She was wearing dark trousers, a cream cardigan and a red coat. She was carrying a small hold all. The weather in the UK at that time was obviously cold and wet and was a far cry from what Mrs. Darwin had been used to in the recent past few months. During the journey back to Hartlepool, Mrs. Darwin was pale, drawn and very quiet, which is understandable.
Why do police officers now think they're working for Mills and Boon?
How have locals in the Darwin's hometown of Seaton Carew paid homage to the Darwins?
They have written twinned with Panama on the local sign, haven't they?
That's excellent.
That's good. Now, this is the Scotsman who spent 4 days stuck in a lavatory. Unfortunately, Mr. Leggett hadn't taken a mobile phone into the toilet, so he couldn't even respond to the scrawled offer to meet Big Dave for red-hot action.
The best bit of graffiti I saw, actually, it was in Soho in London. Someone had put on the wall, all gays are gay. Touché. Well done, you.
In all, Mr. Leggett spent 4 days in a lavatory. His first words when he came out were... In all, Mr. Leggett spent 4 days in the lavatory. His first words when he came out were...
Okay. This won't work now.
There'll be dead silence, won't there?
Yeah, it will.
Right, OK. In all, Mr. Leggett spent 4 days in the lavatory, and his first words when he came out were, I'd give it 10 minutes if I were you. Right, give me a second to do a bit of magic stuff with cards here. I've got a prop.
My favourite bit of
Is this
graffiti
round 5?
Round 2. Yeah.
Round 1, last
Oh,
week,
no,
just
5.
less
No,
than
no,
an
sorry.
hour.
Round 2, yeah.
This is the extended 4-day version.
Right, hang on then.
Can I get a television licence while I'm here as well?
Come on, bear with me. It's my first time. It's complicated.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Ready? I know I'm going to do it now. Well, can you get them to applaud it so I get the back of the applause?
Yeah.
And, so now... Yes,
So it must be Christmas.
to round 2. And it's time for the Have I Got News For You Wheel of Scrooge, which is a roundup of stories all demonstrating seasonal bad will. And just to get into the spirit of bad will, I'll just put the Scrooge cap on. There we are. You know the game, buzz in,
Yeah.
if you know the story.
Yeah.
So here we go with the first spin. Just on the yellow there.
Yeah,
that's Alan Davis. I think Alan was in the papers this week.
he wasn't.
He attacks a tramp, bit his ear.
Paul,
Yeah.
but it's lovable windmill residing in magical detective Alan Davies,
Yes.
who bit a tramp's ear because he confused that real persona with his TV persona of drunken, potentially violent bastard.
The victim was called Paul Mucklefactrick, and as you say, he claimed he was set upon after he called the actor by the name of his most famous character, Jonathan Creek. What was Alan Davis's concern after the incident?
That he'd be in jail?
He was worried about what the headline would be the next day.
Absolutely. He told the Mirror, "This isn't going to look good, is it? The last thing I want is another negative story about that obnoxious Jonathan Creek star. Well, don't worry, Alan, we think you got away with it." One of the ironies is that Alan Davis is, in fact, a vegetarian, which must make a second attack more likely, because the tramp now has a cauliflower ear. Let's have another spin.
It's a woman dressed as a bell.
Very good.
Signifying Happy Christmas, and she's obviously a lollipop woman, and she's been told not to dress as a bell because this is confusing to kids, because they used to see in the uniform, she comes out as a bell, a Minnie came around the corner, hit the Minnie was broken, the bell was intact, she was taken to hospital, her ears were still ringing, Alan Davis came out, bit one of the ears, and now she's come out and she's all right. And this all happened in Leeds.
More or less, yes.
Yeah.
This...
More or less, it can't be, I just made all that up.
It was laced with essential truth.
Ah.
This is children's road crossing supervisor, Margaret Russell.
They're not called lollipop ladies anymore. Did lollipop lead to obesity? What's the problem with that?
Yeah, she's been wearing fancy dress at Christmas every year now for 20 years, and she's now been told to stop because of the health and safety issues. And we have a look at some of the other costumes she's been wearing over the years. So there's a soldier.
Good. That's good, that's lovely.
Yeah, and another one.
I think that's health and safety.
Very good. And another one.
You'd be annoyed if you put your gas bill in that post box, though, and then you got cut off over Christmas.
And she's sitting at home eating your gas bill, those potatoes and sprouts. Not so funny then, is it? Yeah.
Well, why did she do it?
She's mental.
This is lollipop lady Margaret Russell, who's been banned from wearing festive fancy dress costumes while on duty. The council has refused to allow her to stand on a zebra crossing, dressed as a giant Christmas bell. They also turned down her second choice, a zebra costume. OK, let's have one more spin. So who is this? It's in her name.
What's her name?
It's in her name.
Oh, her
Mrs.
name is-
Tinsel.
Mrs. Merry Christmas.
Close. Not Mary. It's a much better name.
Joseph.
Alice.
No. Begins with a C.
Chris Carroll.
No, Christmas
Carol
is...
Christmas.
Carol Christmas.
Carol Christmas.
Fabulous. She must hate her parents.
Yeah.
Yes, it's Carol Christmas has had to move into a stable. Nearly a stable.
Yeah.
It's a conversion.
Yeah.
So do you know why that might be?
There was no room at the inn.
It's to do with why you had to move out of your house some
I
time
got
ago.
flooded out of my house.
Must have been awful.
Oh, if I'd have moved out, got a new one.
Well, staying with festive accommodation, what Christmas offer has Travelodge come up with?
If you stay with them for Christmas Day, on your own, they'll be quite happy to supply a gas pipe to your room, which you can suck on intermittently.
No.
CO2 for you.
No, they're offering 1 free night's accommodation to couples who carry the names Mary and Joseph.
Nice, that's sweet. That's lovely.
Bit late in the day for that sort of arrangement. Where were they 2,000 years ago?
OK, let's move on to this house. It's a Dalmatian house, this.
Oh, that's nice.
Lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know why it's looking like that?
Somebody had an argument with a builder.
The house belongs to the owners of their late, passed-on, beloved Dalmatian, Bingo.
Ah.
And so they did that in honour of their pet. Would you do anything at those lengths if you lost a beloved pet?
No, I hate animals.
Bit of career advice, love.
I am a vegetarian, though, but on the proviso that I wouldn't really want to eat anything I don't particularly like. I just think if you're going to put something in your mouth, you should at least be friendly with it. That's just a rule of thumb.
Nice to see you, Lauren.
OK.
Something went down the wrong way, I think.
And another animal story this week. What do you think is going on in Inspector?
Oh,
It is rather
it's Toto
disturbing.
dressed up as Dorothy in a
Yes.
world gone wrong, Richard. I don't want to live in a world where that happens. That kind of shit sickens me as an animal lover.
Its dog dressed as Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. Warner Brothers launched the canine costume to mark the film's enduring popularity amongst weirdo dog lovers. Let's take another spin of the dice.
This is about a man who went to McDonald's and he had some of their marvellous food. He'd been sitting in his car for an hour, and McDonald's say you only be allowed to sit in the car park for 45 minutes, so they've fined him 220 quid.
125 to begin with.
Oh, yeah, and then got up to
and it's gone up because he won't pay it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
That's funny, because I recently breastfed in a McDonald's car park. Wasn't the best night out I've ever had, I'll be honest with you. But for a good hour and 20 minutes, nobody said a word.
They're using number plate recognition cameras, which automatically clock you when you come in.
So my breastfeeding antics are on some kind of database. A bit nervous now.
Why are you nervous? Is it not your baby?
Who said it was a baby, Stephen?
There's a new range, though, in case Alan Davis comes round. And look here.
Very good.
Do you want lobes with that?
No, I won't.
Yes. Bit of wax on the side.
Richard, I think it's the hat they're booing, not you. Yeah. It's incredibly stupid of McDonald's to fine people to eat in their restaurant, isn't it?
Mm.
The same people who are putting poos in the burgers.
Yeah.
I don't know if that really happens. It was just a joke.
All we know is that won't be going out on television tomorrow night.
The most libelous company on the planet.
Yes.
Let's take him on. We can win.
Yeah.
Who's with me?
You are.
Meanwhile, what's been going on in Tesco car parks?
It's not that dogging, is it?
Do you know this one?
No, I was pressing the buzzer on your behalf.
Thank you very much. Pressing the buzzer on my behalf. How times have changed. Thank you.
Visions of Nigeria coming back.
This is the story about the disabled elderly couple who was shopping, and apparently they had 2 hours in the car park, but apparently because they took too long shopping, they too were fined by Tesco.
It's almost identical customer care policy. They spent nearly 300 of their pension pounds there.
Oh.
Tesco wrote to them soon afterwards saying that they would be fined £100 if they ever did it again.
At the end of their letter, did it go, every little helps?
Well, fairness and lawyers obviously mean we have to give the other side of the story. A Tesco spokesman said, "We feel that in the vast majority of cases, 3 hours should be enough." Actually, I feel that in the vast majority of cases, Tesco spokesman should f*** off. Yes, this is the news that customers are being fined for staying too long in car parks. McDonald's say the unhappy customers only have themselves to blame, and to be fair, there are clearly visible warning signs. They say McDonald's. And we'll have one more spin.
It's got to be Conrad Black. He's been sent to prison for 6.5 years. He was the proprietor of the Daily Telegraph, and he's been seen taking money from his own company and other people, and that's basically the story. But Ian knows more about it, and he can have the points. Since it's Christmas, you have the points.
That's nice.
I don't mind patronising him, it's all right. You know about Conrad. Oh, you were talking about Conrad Black.
Charity from Merton. God. I've got a personal grudge, obviously. I used to work for the Sunday Telegraph, which he owned. Every year we'd say, "Is there some money for a pay rise?" And he'd said, "Oh, no, no, things are very tight." And they'd stolen it all. So I hate him. So 6.5 years struck me as very, very lenient.
So it's the downfall of Conrad Black, who's been sentenced to 6.5 years in an American jail for fraud. Prison rules are strict there. When Lord Black begins his sentence, he'll be allowed no contact with his wife, including no hugs and no kisses. And then at 6:30 every morning, he'll be woken for a shower in a communal washroom. And maybe there will be some hugs and kisses after all. He'll be locked in a prison cell with nothing to do but read. Fortunately, Conrad, if you're watching, Judy and I can recommend some very good books. Perfect whether you're on the beach or on the top bunk. It's time now for the odd one out round.
It's you. Get that hat off.
Yeah, thanks for telling me in time. Right, we'll start with Ian and Stephen. Your four are the Liberal Democrats, Richard Griffiths, Vincent Price and the Axis of Evil.
Is there a culinary connection here? Because Vincent Price was also a gourmet as well as being a star of horror films and stuff, and was he was a keen cook and he had his own television programme. The Liberal Democrats, have they had their own cookery show?
Close, they've got their own cookbook.
Oh, I see. So Richard Griffiths...
What are the recipes in it?
had 2 ounces of flour or not, depending on whether the flour's there or not. On the other hand... So, the Axis of Evil, I mean, somebody must have produced an Axis of Evil cookbook, I should imagine. So the only odd one out is Richard Griffin. Vincent Price undoubtedly did a cookbook. Richard Griffin must be the odd one out. He's not produced a cookbook.
Brilliant.
Thank you
Absolutely brilliant. Well done. They've all written a cookbook, apart from Richard Griffiths, who, as we say, played a crime-solving chef in the Pie in the Sky series. The Liberal Democrats in Camden have published a cookbook featuring recipes contributed by some of your favourite Lib Dems. But do you know what it's called?
Fudge.
Fudge.
Sir, the Liberal helping. How you know.
They've got nothing better to do.
It's not even a pun, to be honest.
Recipe 1, Ming Campbell's soup. Rather old.
Yeah. Charles Kennedy Punch.
Wicked stuff, that.
There's no fruit in this.
It does actually include Charles Kennedy's breakfast smoothie. Wouldn't want to see that. Yes, what does Lembit Opic like to dip his crisps into while watching Question Time?
Sweet cherry pie.
And on to Vincent Price. Vincent wrote several cookbooks. He also used to have his own TV cookery show, you're right there, called Cooking Price-Wise.
Yeah.
Great. Should we take a look?
Yeah.
1970, this.
Hooray.
Oh, brilliant pans.
Hello, I'm Vincent Price. I'm going to put some of these into each one of our little islands. They're the button mushrooms. One of them slipped over into the place of the shrimp. I'll put the shrimp in this next little island. And then I'll put the scallops in the next one. And the roe goes into the last one. There we have it. And I think it is a really beautiful dish.
You may think that, Vince. We couldn't possibly comment. Lauren, you're a woman.
Richard, what of it?
Well, cookery programmes aren't as good as they used to be, are they?
Don't know, I can't cook.
Yes, Vincent died.
Was that going somewhere?
To the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
I just thought, you know, because she's famously a feminist, you might smack my face.
Oh, right.
You
Still
love
can?
that, wouldn't
I
you?
love that.
I'll Punch and Judy.
Do you know what they call it in our studios when Judy gives me one of her elbow thing? The Judy jab.
I saw that happen once, the first time I came
Once?
on your show.
Once?
Yeah, she was punching you in the leg because you were going off on a tangent. Brilliant. Couldn't even see it in shot.
Yeah, I'm a
Looked
martyr
quite-
to my bruises.
Looked quite hard
must
as
be
well.
black and blue.
Awful. That's why I never wear shorts. Vincent died in 1993 at the age of 82, and he was buried in the family crypt. Or was he? Yeah, apparently was, yeah. Right, Paul and Lauren, your four are the Archbishop, John Sentamu,
Good hat.
Gunther von Hagens,
Good hat.
Jeremy Clarkson,
Dick.
and journalist Mika Brzezinski. Who's the other one out?
Well, the Archbishop the other day cut his dog collar up on the Andrew Marr show to protest against Robert Mugabe. The guy on the top right is a performance artist, or so. He cuts up dead bodies, basically, doesn't he, on television? Yep. Bottom right, she's a newsreader who I remember about 2 or 3 months ago refused to read a story about Paris Hilton coming out of, you know, rehab.
I think it's that Jeremy Clarkson is the only one who buys his jeans by chest size. Or possibly that she cut something out.
She cut something out,
right?
yes.
Maybe the other three cut up.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. They've all cut something up on TV, apart from Mika Brzezinski, who tore up a news report on Paris Hilton, and she was coming out of prison. Jeremy Clarkson cut up a Renault Espace on television to create the world's first convertible people carrier. Jeremy cut the car up using an industrial chainsaw and a set of hydraulic cutters. Interestingly, the same method that the wardrobe department used to get him out of his jeans after each programme. Mika Brzezinski. What story did you think should have led that morning's bulletin?
So about Iran, probably.
Some war shit. Who cares? Paris was free at last.
You're absolutely right. OK, Gunther... Sorry. I'm not even on earpiece, I don't know who I'm talking to. Yes, Gunther von Hagens has cut up corpses on television on several occasions, most recently with a gigantic circular saw.
His bodyworks thing, though, is where he flays people's skin and then puts it on.
He does, yeah.
It's very good.
The corpses of Chinese prisoners, I believe.
No, they're all people who voluntarily donated.
Aren't they all Chinese prisoners who voluntarily donated?
No, they're all Germans.
Really?
Yeah, you see, it all comes back.
So we'll finish with John Sentamu. The Archbishop of York protested against the Mugaben regime by taking a pair of scissors and cutting up his dog collar live on television, and here he is doing it.
As an Anglican, this is what I wear to identify myself, that I'm a clergyman. Do you know what Mugabe has done? He's taken people's identity and literally, if you don't mind, cut it to pieces. This is what he's actually done. And in the end, there's nothing. So as far as I'm concerned, from now on, I'm not going to wear a dog collar until Mugabe's gone.
The next bit is when he does that and it's back again.
Very good. Yes. They've all cut something up on television, apart from Mika Brzezinski, who with her bare hands tore up a news report on Paris Hilton. The Archbishop of York, Dr. John Sentamu, complained that the question of racism means that many people are loath to get into criticising Robert Mugabe, or, as Mugabe would doubtless put it, is it because I was black?
Same question Conrad asked at his trial.
Sorry, my mic's come off. Right, okay.
Are you actually Richard Madeley? I look at you, I see Alistair McGowan.
Gunther von Hagens is best known for developing... I'll do that again.
Yeah. Alistair would have done it better.
Gunther von Hagens is best known for developing a complex and expensive technique which keeps the body preserved after death. Or alternatively, you can just join the Hartlepool Canoe Club. Right, it's time now for the missing words round, which this week features the guest publication, Oils and Fats International. Now, I have to say that I've done my research.
Yes.
I've looked at a copy, and frankly, I can't believe it's not better. And we start with, according to Lincoln Wolfe, Vice President of the Manitoba Pulse Growers Association, what?
According to Lincoln Wolfe, Vice President of the Manitoba Pulse Growers Association, Mrs. Wolfe is a fat pig who just sits around the house eating chocolate all day, watching Dallas on the telly.
No.
There is life after gladiators.
Suck our beans.
They are better than beans.
No, shall I tell you?
Yeah.
Beans are on the up.
I said that a minute ago.
Did you?
No.
No.
I don't know, this might be the repeat I'm watching.
No, it's a thrilling conclusion.
Yeah.
Soybean growth is important.
Well, of course it is.
Yeah. This is from Oils and Fats International. A Chinese soy company is setting up a processing plant in North America. There are many things they say they can extract fat from in America. Mostly Americans. OK, the next one. Thank you for that, Paul and Lauren, and indeed all of you. And I did that wrong. Do it again, please. Sorry.
Just for the continuity, Richard, I was doing that just in the middle of that. So I really don't know where I am now. OK. That water's back in there, certainly. OK. So I just started to pause, you started to speak.
Yes, OK,
Yeah, okay.
you ready? In 3, 2, 1, cue.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for that. Here's another one. Granny who fell off bridge after 14 vodkas. What?
Was pissed.
Given her own chat show on daytime. Compensation.
She was given compensation, ladies and gentlemen.
Right, the bridge should have been lower.
Let's look at it. Yes, Granny who fell off bridge after 14 vodkas.
How many have you had?
15. Gets £7,000 compensation.
Oh.
After falling, Helen Truman, who we can show you here, clambered out from under the bridge and scared off the 3 bully goats' gruff. OK, here's another one. What creates sexual buzz amongst fruit flies?
New hot pants craze.
Ewan Holmes.
It's really simple. Is gene creates sexual buzz amongst
Who's
fruit
Gene?
flies.
He sounds like a fun guy.
Well, scientists apparently have created gay fruit flies by changing their genes. They gave them tight white ones. All right, if you didn't like that, try this one. Scientists have used gene therapy to create homosexual fruit flies. They seem to have a lot more energy. In fact, they go from partner to partner like a blue-ass fly. Neither, eh? Okay.
No.
No. Here's another one. What on verge of extinction?
Richard Madeley's turn as host of Have I Got Any
String vests.
Oh.
String vests on the verge of extinction. Anybody wanting to see something else that's on the verge of extinction at this point? OK, you'll love this. It's called the Jerboa, and it was caught on camera for the very first time ever this week.
Oh, yeah, I heard about him.
Oh, look at him.
If Alan Davis saw him walking on the street, mind his own business.
There used to be hundreds of them around the Groucho Club. All gone.
Here's another one. Electricity produced from what powers 27 homes?
Oil.
What did you used to take as a kid?
Vinegar
Cod
oil.
liver oil.
No.
I
Castor
did.
oil.
Actually.
Castor oil.
Castor oil.
Castor oil.
Castor oil. The answer's castor oil. This is a story from Oil's...
Hold
Sorry,
on, copy
I
it.
said it.
Stop copying.
I'm copying.
Only because you copied.
Racist.
Sexist.
Yeah.
This is a story from Oils and Fats International. It's about a Brazilian village with a generator that's powered by castor oil. Runs for 24 hours. Well, with castor oil, you would, wouldn't you? So, the final scores of this epic final programme of the series are Ian and Stephen 9, Paul and Lauren just ahead with 10. Congratulations. Well done. Right. And as usual, just before we go, there's just time for the caption competition.
This isn't the aeroplane toilet.
On which note, we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Stephen K. Amos, and Paul Merton and Lauren Laverne. And I leave you with news that at Highgrove, Prince Charles spots the price sticker on a box of his new Duchy Original Ginger Thins. On a housing estate in Glasgow, a cat is about to discover that 9 lives sometimes just aren't enough. And at Heathrow, there are red faces all round as security fails to spot a suspicious object on the baggage carousel. Good night.
You can listen on BBC Audio to compilations of I Got News for You with some of the very best moments with guest presenters. And there's brand new comedy now on BBC One with Omar Jalili. And here on BBC Two next, all eyes on Ronnie O'Sullivan and Mark Selby, the second semi-final at the UK Snooker Championship in full swing.
I should, of course, point out that McDonald's burgers and other products do not contain poo.